Hey guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sport. And we're here again. I'm back here with the boss himself, the legend, Javed Khan. We just came off doing another chopping block episode, so you all go check that out. And we're here to do an international break special. Now, I know that the new game week 8 is very close, but we're here just to rock back and just give you guys our thoughts, a breakdown on the past few game weeks, 1 to 7. And of course, talk about how we did so well, if we're happy with our performances, and some of the players that have not performed, the ones that have performed, and of course, the big debate about captains, and of course, a few other topics listed in there. So, Javed, let's get into it quickly now. So, how your points looking so far and your rank looking so far? Are you happy and satisfied so far? Or, I mean, of course, there was room for improvement in anything in life, but are you happy so far?
Yeah, I'm pretty much happy so far. Right now, I have an overall tally of 476 points, an
Beautiful.
overall rank of 84,000 K, which isn't bad for after 7 game weeks. And yeah, I actually started off really good. I had my first few game weeks. I had some pretty nice hauls. I started off with a 105, then a 80 points, a 76, a 68, and then it was downfall from there. My wild card in game week 6 only returned 45 points, but although that was low, I guess I was set up for the other game weeks. So pretty much I'm satisfied after 7 game weeks. I rank at 84K. I'll take that any day. And my aim is that around Christmas or so, I want to be in the top 50K and then move from there.
Well, all right. Solid, solid. Well, I mean, I don't want to say myself after that brilliant. But right now I'm on 445, right? So not too far behind. I'm in the top 500 thousands, which is great, especially for someone producing content. You have to be, producing well and doing well. I'm not too dissatisfied with my track so far. I've been doing pretty well. My big haul really, which would have been game week 3 when I came in with 76. Game week 2 was 87. Game week 1 was 63. Game week 4 was 58. But I'm very proud of game week 6. As game week 6, I needed just 64 points to jump into the 400 mark and then go up from there, and I got 68. And that was the week
That's
where
a really good return for game week
telling
6.
you,
I got 45.
right, right. And that was the week where I was banking on like my stars and my Decoris and Vardy. Those guys are bringing in those points, and people are not really picking those guys, and those guys came in really clutch for me that game week. So that was a pretty damn good game week. So of course, that's our reflection on our performances so far, guys. So let us know how you're going so far, how your ranking going so far, how was 1 to 7 treated you all so far. So speaking of performances and reflection, recently, Javed, the FPL website that we all use, recently put out this 11 showing the consistent performance and their well, not to say consistent, but the guys with the most points so far. And it's a very interesting 11, Javed. Not the type of players you'll be expecting to be there.
So I would tell you my biggest regrets at the start of the season. Now, as you know, I'm a Chelsea fan. Ignore the Ajax jersey. I'm just supporting the legend Bob Marley.
Of
Right,
course,
I have Bob Marley on my back. I'm from the Caribbean, so I want to put it out there that I just supporting Bob Marley. However, at the beginning of the season, when you looked at City and Chelsea fixtures, you see, all right, we're not going to go with those defenders. We went with Shaw, which was, that didn't prove to be too fruitful.
No.
And we questioned why we didn't go with a Chelsea and City defender from the get-go. And, the whole Twitter community was saying, the fixtures were bad.
Yes.
We shouldn't go with them. Jump on the Chelsea bandwagon now, which is from game week 8 forward. But as you look at this graphic you have here, you would see that Diaz and Alonso, look at their returns, and Cancelo. So if from the beginning we had a Chelsea defender, if we had Rudiger, if we had Alonso, and we had one of Diaz or Cancelo, we would have, been significantly higher in rank than we are now.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's the thing. At the end of the day, in FPL, we want to look at fixtures over form, but Chelsea and Man City have proven the last couple of years that their defenses are solid, So I guess that would have been my biggest regret, not having a Chelsea defender and City defender from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, I definitely had Diaz from the start. He has always been consistent for City, and he's the safest bet because the problem too, it's all well saying, "Oh, we should have picked City, man," but trying to think like Pep is worse than an ADMAS exam because Pep
But you know something, Jared? Looking at the defense this season, and I mean injuries could always contribute to that. Zinchenko was out, Laporte and Stones was out. So Diaz was pretty much locked. Cancelo was pretty much locked. Walker pretty much locked.
Yeah.
I find like Pep kind of, his defense is pretty much more predictable.
Correct.
But the midfield and forward line definitely has always been the roulette.
Correct. Before we touch on the mid legend, Salah, I'm sure I might lose fans there, but I need to pong the Everton train. It has been something that I have been pushing for since game week 1, especially the Curry. I have been talking about the Curry for the longest while because of course, he could have blanked me because I was going based on last year's performances as well and looking at him because he could tell. And when he came out in that press conference preseason and said he's working on his goals, and Rafa says he's working on him with scoring goals, and he has brought way more end product to FPL right now, and he's a great FPL asset. He's a better FPL asset than Kante. Not saying he's a better player. Never saying that, but he's a better FPL asset. And he has definitely proven that has been very, very consistent so far over the season. And I am so glad that he has proven me right so far.
No, I will take some pong for Townsend, right? Because I know in one of the OFP, one of the Twitter spaces we did with Kwan, big up the OFB podcast.
Of course.
When they recommended Townsend, I was like, said no one ever.
Yeah, my co-host. Yes, my co-host Antonio.
I went great instead of Townsend. I pull up the stat that Townsend had 2 goals in 2 years. Now the man had 2 in 2 fixtures. So I'll take the pong for Townsend. However, I am staying with what I said in that the Everton assets, that train has gone. I am still not going to jump on Everton. I wish you the best of luck. In Doucouré right now, I'm seeing the Doucouré that I saw playing for Watford.
Correct.
Right? And me personally, I'm not going to jump on Everton assets. I think that train has gone. But I wish you guys the best. I know you'll be willing to pong again on the Twitter spaces, but I'll take the pong.
Well, now we have a clip of you saying this. I'll be ready and waiting. Right? And of course, Mr. Reliable Son. I mean, the only problem with Son, as I was saying in the other in my previous show, the preview for Game Week, I don't know if you know, if you're aware, Javed, he has a serious injury though. He has a serious back injury because he's been toting Tottenham for the whole season. So that's something to be aware of when picking Son.
Yeah, I mean, Kane has been disappointing so far. I mean, I love Kane. Kane is a top striker. Kane is in my top 3, undoubtedly. And I don't think Kane looking like the Harry Kane we know him to be. To me, I looked at him in the international break. He looks sluggish. He didn't look like the Harry Kane we seem to know and love. So I don't know. Son definitely is the man to have if you want to go on a Tottenham asset.
And the funny thing with them, as a team, sometimes when your main talisman not performing, that, impacts on the team as well. But Tottenham still having grinding out a few performances. They have to get a win this weekend here against Newcastle. That's a tricky one for them.
Tottenham, for me, in the first 3 fixtures, when they won those 3 games 1-0, they were very fortunate.
Of course. Yeah. So Ben Rama, now the thing with my only problem with this here, right? As much as these guys have all these points, some of these players, they would have racked these points up early in the season.
Yeah, definitely Ben Rama in the first 4 fixtures.
Right. He would have racked these
points.
But
the thing that keeps me encouraged with Benrahma is the movement on and off the ball. What I see from him, because I mean, I looked at a lot of the West Ham games, and in all the fixtures that Benrahma did not return, he could have had returns on the card. So it's not that his positioning was bad, his shooting was bad, or lack of assists. It's just that the guys in front wasn't finishing. The goalkeeper made some good saves. So Benrahma, for me, he is passing the eye test, and I'm one of those who like the eye test as opposed to stats.
Right.
You know, I'm
Correct.
still
Correct.
old
Correct.
school in that regard.
Correct. I myself, correct. Yeah, definitely. All right.
But
So let's.
Vardy is one for
Yes.
me that,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
Vardy is paining me because Vardy over the years, I have never got him in time when he is on a roll. I always had him. I always jumped late on the Vardy train.
Right.
When I have him, he would not haul. I remember last season, I was swapping Vardy and Kane. I swapped out Vardy, he hauled, brought in Kane blank, and if I had just kept both of them, it would have been better. But last season was my worst season, so we wouldn't go back over there.
Right. Now, well, I don't have to say anything about Vardy. Vardy has been my captain since game week 1. I swap captaincy between him and Salah, but sometimes I go and I bank on Vardy more than Salah sometimes. Vardy has been very, very consistent. Even in his worst game when he scored the own goal and he scored a brace on top of that own goal. I mean, come on. That is ground.
On several local groups for those local fantasy paid leagues that I'm in. And when Vardy scored that own goal, it had so much banter on the group. And then Vardy answered with 2 other goals.
Silence. So, crickets. Yeah, I know. I was in that. Man was ponging me. Oh, look. And I said, don't worry. Watch and see. Yeah.
No, but that would have been an amazing captain. Kudos for that.
Yeah. And of course, Antonio. So Antonio here with 49 points. And not too bad from him, playing really well. And I mean, and he's missed a few games, right? Antonio did miss a few games, but still up there with the big points.
Yeah, and Antonio, for me, once those glass hamstrings could stay intact, Antonio's a beast in front,
Correct.
Yeah, but my problem with Antonio is that those Europa League games and those hamstrings, he need to keep those hamstrings for us in FPL. Nobody cares about Europa League.
Correct. I love it. You have to be ruthless. It's true. And I'm glad they brought that up. I'll talk about that a little later. Glad they brought that up. And of course, the man, the myth, Captain FPL himself. No debate anymore. This is the man. If you don't have him in your team,
I think Salah is just one we need to leave the armband on him and just lock that. And I said this earlier in the season, we chop and change with captaincy. And if we look at just leaving the armband on that one person who going to give you over 200 points over the season, it might pay better off than, chopping and changing. Correct. And Salah is proving us wrong game after game.
Correct.
I mean, I love Salah. Not a Liverpool fan, but I love Salah. I have a Salah Egypt jersey, so Salah is a player that I really admire. And that was hurtful when Salah left us,
Yeah, for sure. And the thing with Salah, as you said, if you have him as your captain, you're guaranteed. And it keeps you up there with the other people that have him as his captain, barring if the person that you captain also keeping up that same form. Well, then, all right. If your alternative is scoring at least a brace, maybe a game, or a one goal and an assist.
Coming to captain, we need to speak about the EO, effective ownership.
Yes.
And when you look at Salah, Ronaldo, Lukaku, all of those guys, their EO would probably be over 100%. So it makes sense to get rid of one of them. Because remember, once the EO that high, if they return and you don't captain them, you're gonna lose points. Basically, you're gonna lose rank. So that's one of the reasons why I'll be getting rid of Ronaldo. So I'll just have 2 large EO players who I'm gonna captain. It would definitely be either Salah or Lukaku going forward for the next 5 game weeks. So I don't want to have Ronaldo there to be losing rank. I want to try to maintain rank or go up in rank.
Right, exactly. Right. Before we get into that, so let's quickly I did this on one of my other videos, but as I have here, so quickly we're gonna just look at the list of the top so these are the total points of the top performers. It reflects the 11 as well.
Yeah, but look at the top. Salah on 70 points, and then there's a bottleneck of 40s.
Yeah,
So that shows how superior Salah has been so
exactly.
far.
Look at
But
that gap. The gap.
at this rate, if Salah continues, he's gonna cross 300 points. He's gonna break his last record.
Correct. Exactly. Now, of course, guys, do not use this alone as your measure or barometer to pick players. Obviously, you look at other things that form, you look at as we said, the
Yeah,
eye
and
test.
you remember one of the metrics you could use is the ICT index.
Yes.
If you go to the Linktree link on my handle at FPL FC, you will see the Linktree link for the latest edition of the FPL Hints magazine. I did an article on the FPL ICT index. It's a very useful tool to help you navigate that transfer conundrum. So if it is you're going to look at XG and XA and you want something else to push you over, ICT index is something you could consider. Definitely for forwards and midfielders, not so much defenders,
Yes,
unless he's an attacking defender.
Attacking, yes.
So
yes.
it's a good piece of tool to have that FPL gives you for free.
And there you have it, guys. And of course, I'll be plugging in his Twitter handle. Check him on. Feel free to slide in his DMs. He's welcome and open, willing to help and assist and guide you. Of course, not to guide you to beat him, but of course, to guide you to get you up there. All right. So I want to talk about. No, let's go into the captains first, right? So yes, we're talking about Salah. Salah is the greatest performer right now, FPL asset right now. But can we bring three other names to the conversation, Javed? And these three names I have here, Doucouré, Vardy, and Son. Can we bring them into the conversation? Now, not necessarily to take over Salah, but maybe as vice captains, or if Salah, God forbid, is injured or has maybe a bad run or a game that you're frightened, you could put the armband on these guys. What do you think?
Right. So going back to your list, right? Let me pull up the fixtures. Looking at the fixtures for the next 5 game weeks, right?
I just want to let you know, fixtures and Doucouré don't matter, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you stick on your Doucouré. So definitely, okay. The next 5 fixtures, I look at Chelsea, right?
Sure.
Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley, Leicester, right? I can't see anything other than having a Chelsea player as my captain for game week 9 and game week 10, right?
Okay.
So that kind of rules out your guys, Doucouré, Son, and Vardy. Now, if it is definitely Vardy, I actually would not captain Vardy for any of the other fixtures because you're looking at Man U, Brentford, Arsenal, Leeds, Chelsea. So for the next 5, I wouldn't captain Vardy. Everton, you're looking at West Ham, Watford, Wolves. And when you look at Doucouré, I would compare Lukaku against Norwich as opposed to Watford versus Everton. So definitely not for that. And let me go down to Liverpool. Oh, also City. I didn't hear you mention a City asset, but City fixtures. They have 3 nice fixtures. They have Burnley, Brighton, Crystal Palace in the next 3.
I guess you could captain Edison or Cancelo, because those are the only people I would
that you're sure about.
Yeah,
that you're sure about.
I'm looking at Jesus. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking at Jesus. Granted,
Jesus actually for me right now is not a bad punt.
Yeah,
not a bad punt at all.
Yeah.
But definitely for the next 5, my captain is gonna be my Chelsea striker, who is Lukaku.
Correct.
And I would definitely look into Liverpool also. Salah is going to be my captain, most likely against Watford. Yes. And then the man goes on Lukaku for the next 2 at least.
Especially for Norwich. Correct.
Correct. And Newcastle.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Remember, Newcastle is one of the if not the most the leakiest defense in the Premier League right now.
Yes, that is a start actually. Yes, they are. Yeah, for sure. All right. So moving on to a topic that I'm very passionate about. Right, I want to talk about the budget goalkeepers versus your premium goalkeepers. Right now, I have nothing against the premiums, not even because of price point. Right, that's not a problem. You can bring in your boys because of the price, but my problem with them is their return because
Right.
all you're guaranteed really is just a clean sheet. Now I know I'm saying just a clean sheet. A clean sheet is a big deal, but if they concede, all you are going to get is 2 points or 1 point, if so much. But when you come to
Yeah,
the
because the save
budget,
points is not a lot.
right, with the
Yeah,
save points,
but
it's
I
not a
mean,
lot.
I was looking at footage from Edison, right? Before his pre-match footage, Edison actually dunks the ball perfectly with an assist to the striker.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like it was so smooth. It's just beauty. It reminds me of Petr Cech when he used to dunk it straight to Drogba, and Drogba would just body up those defenders and score. So in that regard, Edison is one could give you the occasional assist.
assist.
But I,
Yeah,
I agree with you because at the end of the day, you look at Mendy, you look at Edison, who are the two premiums you would look at for the fixtures that coming up, right? And you rate that as compared to, okay, I'll get a goalkeeper for 6.0, or would I want a Cancelo? Would I want a Diaz? Would I want a Azpilicueta? Would I want a Chilwell or a Reece James? And for me, I would go with the attacking fullback at that price point because of the returns. Because at the end of the day, if Chelsea doesn't keep a clean sheet and Reece James is in the form that he is playing in, you could get an assist, you could get the occasional goal. So me, definitely, I would not support the premium. Although initially I had a thought to bring in Mendy and a Chelsea defender on my wild card, but you remember Mendy was out for that one
right,
game, so
exactly.
that changed my plan definitely. But I would definitely recommend to whoever in that particular conundrum, go with the attacking fullback.
Yeah, yeah, put the extra points towards that
Mm.
instead. Correct. Fully agree.
Because once you have your Sanchez or your Raya, you know, or even your Martinez. But I mean, Martinez, he basically he's a premium now because of the
Yeah,
price point.
yeah.
So that is, I actually wouldn't recommend going with Aston Villa defender at this point in time.
No, not at this point in time. Not even a Mings. What about so before we move on quickly, so no, I like the strategy that you have, the whole Sanchez and Steve is his name.
Still,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. I love that. That's a great strategy. Because what
And
I
I think
do,
I'm gonna keep it for the rest of the season. That
yeah,
isn't gonna change. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a solid because
The only time it would change is when we have the double game week, and I'll bring in a additional keeper for that.
right,
But
right.
other than that, that would be me for the rest of the season.
For the rest of the season. Yeah. I feel I like that. I
Goalkeeper is definitely not a position I want to waste a transfer on.
exactly because and that is why I really advocate for the budget keepers because you go a keeper is there to concede, right? Because the point of you have to score to win a game, so they're going to be there to concede. But you want that they put down some saves in between that. And so far, I just you mentioned Raya, Martinez for sure. Even McCarthy's a decent shout. Ramsdale looking decent as well
Yeah,
too.
the thing about McCarthy will give you a clean sheet, and he'll give you some save points, and then he'll concede it.
Yeah, well,
So,
but and the sad part is he might still make more points than Alisson or Mendy, even when he get the. That's the sad part
oh yeah,
because
because he might save 10 shots during that time.
because he made more points than Mendy when they played, and even though he conceded 3 goals, he made more points than Mendy. So that's the point there with that. All right. So moving on, do we? Also, let's talk about the premium strikers now and your premium. Well, I don't think there's any premium midfielders that really underperforming right now. Or the top of my head, most of the usual suspects performing and some unusual ones performing as well.
Yeah.
But the Ronaldo and the Lukaku's, a lot of people were banking and pushing on that, hoping that especially Ronaldo. I mean, of course, it is expected, and I understand why. I am not getting on that train at all, but you know, I understand why people will want to bank and push on Ronaldo, but he hasn't. He did what he did at the start of his campaign, and now he's kind of tether off a little bit. Any what's he? So you, and I know you said you might get rid of him, you might not keep him.
Yeah, so with Ronaldo, I'm gonna play him for the Leicester game, and more than likely he would be my transfer out after game week 8, because yeah, as I spoke earlier about EO, I'm not gonna keep a highly owned player like Ronaldo again. I think I could get value in other places for that point, but definitely I'm gonna bring back in Ronaldo at game week 15. When Manu fixtures swing again.
Right,
So
right.
that would be my plan for Ronaldo. And in the meantime, I could go back to bringing Trent in my defense and strengthening that midfield with probably Son.
All right. Something I want to talk about, right? Something that I think affects these players, right? These premium players. No, not just your strikers, the premium teams on a whole. Champions League.
Yes.
Is that something that we should start factoring into our decision making? I mean, I'm not saying just because they play Champions League. I mean, depending on the team, obviously, yeah. But do we factor that in? Because sometimes I think that adds to the fatigue, and then worse yet now with COVID and injuries and whatnot, that thinning these teams. I think Champions League is something that we need to consider, depending on the fixtures in the Champions League, and of course the fixture they have at the coming game week in FPL as well,
Yeah,
in
it's
Premier League.
definitely a good point. Is definitely something that you need to factor, and that's the reason why we have these budget midfielders. We have Rafinha, we have Sa, you have those who are not playing in Champions League, who don't have any European football. So it's always good to have a mix in your team. Not only those who in Europe, you have at least have a defender and two midfielders. Who not in Europe, who you could depend on. And yeah, that's a very good point that you make, because you could have a bad showing in Champions League. You could get injured in Champions League, so you need to have players who are not Champions League players.
Correct. Correct. Now, what's we ran through really good on my checklist so far. What I wanted to talk about too. What have we? So what has stand out for you? What stood out for you so far in the FPL season? Like what players surprised you, or teams, or not just your big names, but players that really caught you off guard, or maybe you didn't have them or you had them. Someone that you banked on and he really performed and put out the points for you, or someone that you was like, I really should have picked him. What have we learned so far between game week 1 to 7 so far?
Now, basically, you learned that well, so far, whoever Norwich is playing against, you get players from the opposite team. So that's one point.
Yes,
To me,
correct.
Leeds has been disappointing so far this season, in my opinion. They're not the Leeds we saw last season. They disappointed me. Luke Shaw was the worst
Mm,
player at a premium level. I expected a lot from Luke Shaw. Um, Certain things that we predicted at the start of the season, like West Ham doing good, the pairing strategy with Ben Rama and Antonio, that worked well. So, that's one that we expected, and we got the fruit, the returns for that.
correct.
Ronaldo, for me, he disappointed me in the 2 game weeks that I brought him in for. And yeah, that one hit me hard, because I wildcarded specifically for Ronaldo. The surprise so far of the season for me has been Brentford. I think Brentford
Definitely.
defensively has been solid. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for Brentford. I have a lot of respect for their manager. I think their manager is doing a really good job. The biggest pain for Brentford was I had Ivan Toney for 3 match days in a row. When I
Mm,
took him out, he
mm.
scored 10 points for Bamford, who scored, I think it was 1 or 2 points.
Oh
So yeah,
no.
that hit me hard. And all in all, it was a good season so far. We are at the point where we know what the team's looking like. We know what they're gonna bring. So definitely those who wildcard, and now is a good time. You have enough information, you
Yes,
have a decent
yes.
amount of stats. Yeah, so we pretty much know how things gonna shape up for the end of the season. When Chelsea gonna lift the title.
Wow. Wow. I can't even argue, boy. I can't even say no. Causeway. But no, gotta give it credit where it's due. Another point I wanted to bring up, Javed. Do we because I watch your team. Do we consider, or is it time to have good-ish, or let's say decent-ish substitutes on the bench? Nothing too expensive, but just some, because especially now with COVID,
Hmm.
injuries, anything, or just rotation, right? Do you think it's a good time now to start one by one? Like once your team's solid, start to use your transfers now. Maybe just one, not the all two, but just one to bring in a sub every other so and have a
Well,
solid,
my
decent.
my teams would always have playing subs, right?
Right.
Even if it's a player, I would give you 2 points. So I would always have a defender, 4.0 defender. So I struck gold with Livramento. I had him from the start of the season. So I have the price rises with him and everything. I wildcarded and got in Williams because he was starting every game for Norwich. So that one kind of hit me back. And Sissoko, well, he's gonna play. So I at least have two playing subs, and you should aim for at least two playing subs, at a minimum. But definitely, when we go into the festive season and fixtures gonna hit you every
Hmm.
2 and 3 days, you
Hmm.
definitely need to have a full playing bench because you're gonna get games that your premium is not gonna play, and people gonna get heavily rotated. So if you're on a wild card, definitely you should aim for at least two playing subs.
All right, there you have it. Solid advice. So whatever, I guess what we could do right now to end off the video, Javid, we could have a bit of fun. We could look at the fixtures coming up. And
Right.
we could do a, you versus me, and see who at the end of the game we predicted the best, who predicted the best player. All you want to do is one player from each team that we predict
Yeah,
will
we could do
perform
we
the
could do
best.
we could do one player from each team and let's predict the score.
Right. So I will do home and you do away. Chelsea is playing. Wait, let me make sure how Chelsea is playing. Remove that's now. Let me just now bring up that quickly. Right. All right. Right. So yes, so I will do home, you do away because Chelsea is playing away. So we'll start with Watford versus Liverpool, right? So this is a good one.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously I will now my brain telling me Sam, but my gut telling me King because King doing really but King has a bit of a knock right now. So I'll have to go with Sa. I think if anything have to come from Watford, and I might even put Sa in my fantasy five because I play that as well
Right.
on the side. So I feel I will throw him in there as well. So and obviously, I mean, go ahead, but I know you'll pick for sure for Liverpool.
Well, I mean, Liverpool, who you could go by, but not Salah. So Liverpool is that one is just a no-brainer.
So what we'll do to make it interesting,
Hmm.
we'll tally up the points of each player, of all the players, and see who got the most
Yeah.
points from either side. So we'll do something like
All
that.
right.
Right.
What about your predicted score?
Hmm. This one hard way. Obviously. But you see the Ranieri effect to it, boy. Because teams get a lift on Watford is a
Yeah,
kind of
teams
team.
teams have the new manager
Yeah.
bounce.
Because
But
when Mhm.
let me hear what was your
I don't know.
prediction?
Because and it's in Vicarage Road. I've been to Vicarage Road, and I've been there when they got their new manager. So and they really had a nice bounce, and they're a decent team. I wanna say I feel it'll be a funny game. I'm gonna say 3-2 Liverpool.
All right, I'll go 2-0 Liverpool.
Well, all right. Um, Villa Wolves, Villa Wolves, Villa Wolves, Villa Wolves. I'm going with a funny fella here. I'm going with Douglas Luiz. Um,
Okay.
I know he's a funny one, but these kind of games is his game. And if Ing starts, if he's fit, and if Watkins starts, once they all fit, I think Luis could get an assist or even a goal, or maybe Pens as well too. So yeah, I'll go with Luis.
And well, for Wolves, are going with your boy Juan.
Right?
I think Huang is a beast. You look at the physique of this man. and he has been feeding off Jimenez.
Yes.
It reminds me of the Kane Son partnership from last season. So I think I'm gonna do something. But my prediction for this game, I would say I would go with a 1-all for that game.
I was going
What
with
do
a
you think
2-all.
about
Yeah, 2-all. I was
2-all?
saying 2-all.
Okay,
Yeah. They have goals in them. I was saying 2-all. Yeah.
right.
Well, of course, this is a no-brainer for me. Vardy all day, every day. Vardy brace. And I'll say the prediction one time. I think Leicester might win 2-1.
All right, I'm gonna go with 2-all with a
Okay.
Ronaldo brace.
Right. Fair enough. Well, once Vardy score a brace, and I don't mind. Any result could be on.
Right.
City Burnley. I will once, well, you see, I'm not too sure what the South American problems, but you know what? I'm going to go with Torres. I doubt he will start because
Fair enough.
he played well in international break, and when you do that, Pep will like to pick you. But I don't know. Well, I'll go with Torres. I mean, safer bet might be Diaz, Cancelo. They will get an assist for sure. This game will have goals. I'm saying maybe 3-1 from City.
It's very difficult to pick a Burnley player here, you know.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
It's very difficult to pick a Burnley player. But I mean, Burnley, they're traditionally good defensively. So if I had to pick a Burnley player that will start in this game, it'll be the Tark in the back, Tarkowski. But
solid.
I can't see this going anyway than a thumping for City. So I would say 3-0 City.
Well, all right. Norwich, Brighton.
You didn't give me a prediction, you know.
Yeah, 3-1 City.
Oh,
3-1
right,
City.
Great.
Yeah, Westwood score, McNeil assist.
All right.
Specifying it. Norwich, Brighton. Well, I mean, safe bet. Pookie played well in the international, scored a few goals. Right? He did score a few goals. So, but
that was one party that I never jump on, eh?
Yeah,
the Pookie party.
I brought him in when he scored against Watford. I brought him in the game, that game, just for that game, because I figured he would score against Watford. So I brought him in for that game. I'd go in with maybe Norwich have to start scoring goals. I'm gonna go with maybe a 2-1 Brighton. What Pookie might score.
Right. So for Brighton, I'm gonna go with 2-0 Brighton, and the player from Brighton to look at. I don't know if Mope he recovered from his injury. I don't think so. Did he?
No, he's back. He's back.
He's
back. He's back. Yeah.
All right. I'll go for the assist king in Brighton, Pascal Gross.
Oh yeah. I mean, boy, I could do a whole episode on him, of the highs and the lows, the disappointments for the past few seasons. But yeah, when he pops up, he really pops up. Yeah. Southampton Leeds. So I'm gonna be a coward and go save McCarthy. to save points wise. I'm gonna be a coward. I like to normally predict Che Adams, right? I like him, or Livermento, of course. But I'm gonna go safe and pick McCarthy. And this game 0-0.
For this game, I'm gonna go with because of the uncertainty of Rafinha, I'm gonna go with Rodrigo. And I would say this game would be a 1-1.
Okay. Right, next up, big game. So Brentford playing the Minnows from London. Just joking, of course, but big game here. This is a whew. So first off, I'm going to go best performer for this game. I'm gonna go with Tony. This is a big game. And
right.
And Tony, I know Tony just assistant, but I'm gonna go with Tony for this one.
Tony,
I want to say
Tony gonna give you 1 point, and he's a yellow card magnet, so that's the minus point there.
Yeah, this.
So you're not even gonna get 2, you'll get 1 point. So good luck with that.
Yes. Right, of course, honorable mention. I'm sorry, but anytime I talk about Brentford, I have to talk about the undroppable Janssen. Undroppable.
Hey, Janssen has really impressed me.
Undroppable
throughout the season.
Undroppable. I don't have an average of 4 points a match. 4 points
as a Brentford player. That's amazing.
As a Brentford player, and the teams that they played against so far, amazing. And I'm going to go with 2-2.
Oh well, hard luck, partner. I'm gonna go with 2-0 a brace from Chelsea. Chelsea will keep a clean sheet in that game. I have no doubt about it.
All right. I love your confidence. No problem. All right. Well, of course, the game with the best midfielders so far for this season. You can't argue that,
Yeah,
right? Of
the
course,
the best the best budget midfielders.
but yes, and giving you your points, returns, you can return. So I want to say the Curry, the Curry all day, every day. And I'm going to go with 3-2 Everton.
All right. Well, I'm
Ducouré
gonna go
with two assists and Gray with
with
a
my boy
brace and
Benny
Chelsea. Benny,
Ben Rama
hey,
for
Ramos,
yeah.
Ramos. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ben Rama, and that game for me is a 2-1 West Ham.
All right. All right. Yeah, because see, well, the thing is, Everton defense leaky. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh,
Yeah,
yes, they're playing well, but the defense is very leaky, and Pickford is very sus at times. So yeah. Next up, Newcastle Spurs. Of course, can't go wrong with Saint Maximin. I don't know
yeah.
what he's done between last season and now, but definitely has improved and
So,
added end
so you
product.
hear the touted front three for West Ham after the Saudi takeover is Mbappe, Haaland, and Saint Maximan.
That's a mad, 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 mad front three.
I
If
mean
that really pull up.
Newcastle fans could dream that they would get that front three, but
Yeah, but
and
that
they're
not
never gonna happen.
no, that's not gonna happen. Especially as Mbappe
Yeah,
already going Real Madrid. I mean, no,
to
that's not
Real
gonna
Madrid,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah, but I would love to do a show on that. I mean, I know it's just fantasy here, but the players that they could get, because I was discussing that with my co-host, and they could get some. It don't have to be those big names like that, but they could go to certain teams, bring in certain players, and really beef up the team, push
Well, I
for
mean,
Europe, and
it would be the players who definitely, if it is they're gonna get a good manager who would attract players. Like let me say they do get Antonio Conte.
right.
I mean, I love Conte as a manager. It's just that Conte would explode after a year, but you're sure
Yes,
to get a
yes,
trophy.
yes. Correct,
But if you
correct.
treat him good and you give him what he wants,
That is it.
you're guaranteed to get results, right?
That is it.
And players will play for Conte. So like let me say Marcus Alonso, for example, right? He's not locked in Chelsea. He knows if he goes to Conte, he gonna get that wing back role. He gonna get maybe 300,000 a week, because of the money that
Money,
Newcastle.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
players would flock to a manager like Conte, and he has a certain type of players that he would want. Let me say, for example, somebody like Victor Moses, who's playing in
Mm.
Turkish league. I could see him coming back to Newcastle to play that right wing back role if somebody like Conte is there.
And he
So
was
players like
flourishing
that
under
who
Conte.
knows
Yeah, yeah,
who
yeah,
knows
yeah,
the
yeah,
Premier League.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. That's a great show. Okay, we'll do a show on that. That's brilliant. So Spurs. So I'm gonna go. This is a funny one where maybe a 2-1 Spurs. Maximum get the goal. Yeah, if Callum is fit, 2-all. Because I heard shouts at Callum. He was in training and he may feature. So if Callum is fit, 2-all. If not 2-1
Now,
Spurs.
yeah, as a Chelsea fan, I dislike Spurs a
With
lot,
all with
and
yeah, yeah, of course, of
and I
course.
mean, I like the players. I like Son, I like
The
Kane, but
assets, of course.
at some point in time, Newcastle had to turn it around. So I'm gonna go with Newcastle here. I'm gonna go with a 1-0 Newcastle.
Oh, ball with Son.
Yes, with Son.
Wow. Well, all right, ball. I love it. You have to be ball. All right. And of course, last but not least, a London derby, the biggest team in London, Arsenal. Of
Oh, but
course.
Chelsea not playing on Monday. What are you talking about?
Ah.
So you're gonna do a live for this one also?
Well, I would love to, but I'm working Monday. Well, I'm considering taking the day off. Hope my boss not watching, but I'm considering taking the day off. So I can, but I am considering it. I am, or just leave early, and come home and do it. I am considering it. Arsenal, but Arsenal is a hard team because I always tell people don't pick Arsenal, man, as yet. I'll tell you all when. But now I want to go. Should I be a coward boy and go Rams? You know what? No. This is a game I think Saka might love himself if he gets his sweat. If not, Smith Rowe, but Saka, Smith Rowe, and I'm gonna go with this. Will be a tough game, And Zaha loves to score against us. I'll go 2-1
Yeah.
Arsenal.
And well, as you mentioned, Zaha. I mean, I had to go with Zaha.
Yeah, of course.
And
No brainer.
Crystal Palace hasn't been looking that bad in the last couple of games. Gallagher is our next one that we OFP boys love, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So
Rose eyes.
yeah, this one is I mean, they're playing in the Emirates. Arsenal has been doing good as of late. I have Ben White in my team, so I'm gonna go to a 1-0 Arsenal for this.
Well, all
I
right,
know
all right.
I know you love that.
Yeah, yeah, that's my favorite song. Yeah. So of course, Javed, well, we reached the end there, but thank you so much for coming. Before you go, Glam, any was it some nice advice you could give to any new and of course current FPL managers? What or any strategies? Of course, I know you mentioned ICT index. Of course, you'll plug that in before you go again for me. And of course, yeah, just close us off with some thoughts and remarks, and of course, some
Well,
big
I mean,
advice.
if you recently started FPL, just remember it is a game, right? A lot of people don't like to hear that, but it is a game. A lot of people take it seriously. People having mental health issues because of
Mm,
FPL. I mean,
mm.
as you said earlier, my DM's always open. If you need to talk, call me. I don't want to see on Twitter somebody commit suicide because the captain didn't score, that kind of thing. Just
Right,
remember, it is
right.
a game. The Twitter community is a nice community. There's
Yes,
a lot of people who you could interact with. Um, I need to shout out people like Dan Bennett, Obe
of
Eid,
course, of
Ash
course.
from FPL Hints, Surya and Trini from All About FPL, FPL Goat. These are big profiles and big players who have always interacted with me, and I know has made my little growth in the FPL community, better because of their interaction, their advice. Really, really great guys. And so you look at these pundits. FPL Mate from YouTube is another really nice guy, a really good character. So you could look at their shows, get tips, get advice all about FPL. They give you free articles, and that's a way you could build your team. I'm not saying go and copy a pundit team,
Of
or
course, of
copy
course.
anybody. You listen to the Twitter Spaces. FPL Hints has a Twitter Space every Friday, with good advice, good players. So you listen to some of these podcasts. You listen to the Fantasy Pavilion. You know, and yeah, I wouldn't recommend you paying for anything at this point in time. There's a lot of free resources.
Yes,
And
yes,
yeah, so you follow the top profiles. You look at how they play. You try to think like how they think, because they are pundits for a reason. These guys have been doing exceptionally well since the beginning of FPL at a constant rate. So they know what they are doing, and you make your own strategy. At the end of the day, trust your gut. If your gut say that Ronaldo gonna score a hat-trick this weekend, go with Ronaldo. you know at the end of the game, play FPL for fun. Play it
yes,
because you love it. Play it
yes,
to be excited by it.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
FPL, to me personally, I have better weekends when I do good in FPL. You know, I would be grumpy for the weekend if I do bad, but at the end of the day, I go and I hug up my daughter, and I feel good again.
Right,
So
right.
we just need to keep in mind that it is a game. We love it, but it is a game.
Correct, correct. Yeah, and I love that. And well, of course, my solid piece of advice: always have the curry in your team. Yeah, that's the best piece of advice. And of course, please, guys, as
And
I
you see the thing is, Jared, I just say follow, Fantasy Pavilion, and you end up saying things like this. You can't make me look bad.
guys, I have the proof is in the pudding, guys. Have I let you along with the curry? I'm not, right? The curry has been consistently performing, right? That is a red flag with this whole trend
Nah,
going on. Don't have the
I
curry
would,
in my
I would,
team.
I would, I would support the Ducure pick at this point in time, but don't tell me about Townsend again.
No, 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 no. I went push the Townsend, but Townsend has been, he's been doing well. And of course, the
Yeah.
biggest piece of advice, guys, the most important, please click that save button. Please do not forget to click that save button, and do not pick your team while drinking. Pick your team, click the save
Also,
button, and then
change your password, right?
yes, oh my
Get a
word,
difficult password,
yes,
you
yes,
know,
for
because you see
real.
what's going on right now in the community.
Can't believe that.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, right. So, with that, guys, we'll sign off. Please subscribe, like, share. Very close to 80 subs, one away. So when you guys please get me there, I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the year. Thank you very much for your love,
Don't
support, and
worry,
of course,
we're gonna get you that 100 after we share these videos.
well, all right, man. Thanks very much, and of course, check out it's FPL Dagger, right? FPL. That's the
At FPL
Twitter
Dagger
handle,
FC.
right? So I will put it in below. Don't flood him and overdo it, guys. But of course, feel free to check him. Right? He's a great guy, great character, and very open, very friendly. And of course, any Twitter spaces he's a part of, I'll keep putting them out on my Instagram as well, so you all can stay tuned. And of course, guys, as usual, happy picking.
And green flags, everybody. Green flags.
Green flag. Let's go.
Yeah, I about this red flag thing on
Yeah,
Twitter.
no red flags.
Yeah,
Green
so we're gonna
flags.
say
I love
green
it.
flags.
I love it. Thanks, man, Javed.
All right, take care.